This week on WestfordCAT News, State Senator Edward Kennedy weighs in on his recent legislative achievements.
I was able to get a $50,000 as a local initiative into the budget for the safety upgrades to school and town buildings in the town of Westford.
Police Chief Mark Chambers unveils training policies for his force. Local realtors review the real estate market in Westford. I'm Joyce Polino Crane. Stay with us. WestfordCAT News is next. A variant of the COVID-19 virus is raising concerns that the country may be in for another period of mask wearing. Here's Health Director Jeff Stevens talking with WestfordCAT Production Coordinator Patty Stocker.
The one thing that we also need to look at is at some point, we may be looking at going back into masks more regularly in certain settings. Westford's very fortunate in the fact that we're one of the communities that is vaccinated at about 75% right now.
Great.
Yet we still have 20 cases in town. So that tells you how virulent this virus actually is. It's really contagious. So as we move forward, as the state studies the data and as the town decides to make decisions over the next couple of weeks, we'll be watching and seeing if local mask recommendations need to be put in place again.
To watch the entire interview with Stevens, visit westfordcat.org. From securing funds for improved building safety to co-chairing the COVID-19 Cultural Impact Commission, State Senator Edward Kennedy has been busy at the State House.
The legislature recently passed a $48 billion budget for fiscal year 22. And there's a few items in that budget that probably would be of interest to viewers. One is that I was able to get a $50,000 as a local initiative into the budget for the safety upgrades to school and town buildings in the town of Westford. I think that there's so I think that that's good. I think that's there's an ongoing task force in Westford that deals with that, and that 50,000 should be helpful as they continue their work to make the public buildings and school buildings safer in Westford for everybody that uses them. Another item that was in the budget was the film tax credit. So the film tax credit in Massachusetts, which has attracted a lot of film productions in recent years, I think 230 maybe in the past 10 years, was set to sunset in a couple of years. So in this budget, we made the film tax credit permanent, and I think that will be good for the overall economy. I also just finished co-chairing the COVID-19 Cultural Impact Commission, which was comprised of people from different areas of the Commonwealth and people who are involved in different aspects of culture and the arts, and so we just finished that up on June 30th and filed a report with the legislature, which hopefully will spawn legislation that will be directed at helping those industries recover from the COVID pandemic.
To watch the entire interview, visit westfordcat.org. Police Chief Mark Chambers on July 18th spoke with me about the department's policies and what has become of the chokehold in Massachusetts.
So with the social justice reform and the killing of George Floyd over the summer, we heard from the community what they wanted from us. And we wanted to make sure that we provided as much information as we possibly could, because we wanted to answer the questions. We didn't want our community not knowing how we approach things, or what type of training we've given our officers, or what our policies and procedures were. So we tried to provide as much information as we could. Some of that information has been revised. We've even created new policies to address some of the community concerns of how we respond to calls.
To watch my entire interview with Chambers, visit WestfordCAT.org. Real estate prices in Westford jumped by 3% between May and July, according to Westford real estate professionals. The sizzling market is thrilling sellers but stumping would-be buyers. Realtor Leslie Thomas of Coldwell Banker said she has seen some Westford houses sell for much more than expected.
Well, the prices have been shocking on the new condominiums. That some that started in the $500,000 range was selling even 800,000, 900,000. So it's really kind of unheard of. Is the interest rates, I mean, they're still the lowest they've ever been. They're still below 3%. And that made people who didn't qualify or weren't able to buy a house before to be able to, to be able to do that.
If you look at the sales over the last 12 months, that average, so these are the properties that have actually, changed hands, been bought and sold, sold and bought, however you look at it. You would be in the low sevens. So that's the average of the houses that we're seeing sold in the last 12 months.
$700,000?
Yes, between 7 and 720, say. Which, interestingly enough, I could, round works out to about around $300 a square foot based on the average size as well. So, it's a pretty heavy number.
It's mind-blowing for me. I just can't even imagine.
Well, if you have a second and you don't mind me talking about it, I have even more mind-blowing numbers, and I looked over the last 6 months period, because there's a lot of houses that have transacted. So in the last 6 months, there's been 123 homes sold in Westford. That's through MLS. There may have been more that were non-MLS transactions, but through our database, there's been 123 sales. Of those 123 sales, 101 of those sales were sold over asking price.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty remarkable. And when I dug a little farther, this is kind of what really kind of took my breath away. Of those 101 sales, 18 had sale prices that were over $100,000 higher than their asking price. If you can, that's tremendous. There was a property in town that sold $281,100 over its asking price. And that's, those figures to me, even though I do it every day, even though I see them day by day, when I look at them collectively, really took my breath away.
Watch the entire interviews with Thomas and Palmer. Visit WestfordCAT.org. That's it for now, Westford. I'm Joyce Polino Crane, and you're watching Westford Cat News. Cat News.